God, we ought to do an 8
Testing. Hello. Dr. Grind. Godfather. HR3. Come to the studio, please. It's time to go live.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nation.
And good morning, golfing world. George Honeycutt, the Godfather. With me, as always, my two brothers from two different mothers, HR3 and Mr. Al Cloyd. Hey, y'all doing? Well, look, Mom, on TV. This could get ugly quick. I'm going to make you hurl before the day's over with.
What's your issue here?
I smell vermin poontang.
You gotta love it. I mean, if y'all are not entertained out there.
You know, I've often thought of becoming a golf club.
You need to go see Al Cloyd.
I noticed your grips were worn, sir. I should have mentioned to you before. I could put some stickum on there for you. It's my fault.
No, you want to know? Here you go.
No.
I'm going to give you the expertise.
Hey, I should have stayed home and played with myself.
No, you got to finish, dude. No, you got to finish.
You're doing it. I ain't touching it. Nope.
Here.
I ain't touching it. Nope.
Your wife is one of the more beautiful women in the world.
I have no argument there. She is.
You outpunted your coverage.
What's your issue here?
I'm not a professional.
Right.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I'm not a professional.
I think this is a soap opera or something.
Give me a set of those, a pair of those, and a box of those, and let me have some of those naked lady tees. Moving on.
I am the same one. What's your issue here? You're doing it. I ain't touching it. Nope.
Here.
I ain't touching it. Nope.
Here.
Nope. Good try. How many breaths do you think you're going to need when you die?
One.
Quit wasting them.
Yeah.
Because you realize you are going
But I'm
round
trying
and
to
around.
provide good air.
Yeah, you're trying to provide good air, but you're
right.
answering your own questions.
Well, if you jump in and talk.
Well, I'm just letting you lay the groundwork because I'm
You done
telling
said
you.
the rest of the show was mine.
It
damn
was. But I mean, I don't want you to have a heart attack because I ain't giving you ugly ass mouth to mouth.
Al will do it.
Cannonball coming.
Broadcasting from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this is TGD Today. And now please welcome Hero III,
HR3.
Al Cloyd,
Dr. Grind.
George Honeycutt, the Godfather.
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid.
You're doing it. I ain't touching it. Nope.
Here.
I ain't touching it. Nope.
Here.
Nope. Good try.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to TGD Today. It's Roundtable with Hugh Roy III and George Honeycutt. Hugh, good to see you, babe.
You too, bud.
You're looking very, very Christmassy or something today.
Dude, I got my dog colors on for you today.
Okay, all right.
Red and black.
I love it. I love
polo for Heather, so I stay out of trouble.
it. Oof.
Got it. She likes
Looking
the red
sharp, dude.
polo, so I'm just trying to, 15 years. You got to do a little bit to stay on top of things.
I hear you, babe. I hear you. So, how's your week been?
It's been pretty hectic, with the weather and whatnot. But other than that, we've been able to get on the sim over there at Possum Trot and get people happy and moving in the right
That's really
direction.
paying off for you.
Oh, big time, huge,
Yeah.
huge. So luckily,
And, of course, we're talking about the recent move where you added on Possum Trot to Shasberry, Heather Glenn, Glenn Dornick, and the Glenn's Golf Group Academy. Is that right? Glenn's Golf Academy?
It's still under the Hugh Royer South Carolina Golf Center,
Right, but I'm saying you added
basically
them on.
it's they've made me the director of the instruction for the whole Glenn's group.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of nice. I mean, to go into somewhere and there's a bunch of people and they like seeing you for some reason. They like me and everybody's
God,
getting
I can't
along, having a good
imagine
time.
that, dude.
I
Holy
know.
crap.
I know.
Well, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, sooner or later.
All right. This week's been kind of interesting in the golfing world in the fact that I guess Ted Bishop's leak actually got affirmed with the announcement of Davis Love III.
It did, and then the funny
being
part
named
when I
Ryder Cup.
when I read the stuff, that Hooked on Phonics has done wonders for me, and being able to read Davis's whole idea of how he's going to do this in the pod system, like a la Paul Lazinger, like we talked about last week that you brought up.
Yeah.
I think it should help. Now, is it going to be enough? Who knows? But the way he's done it with the people in specific groups, if that's the team he gets, I think he's got a pretty good idea of how he wants to try to run it.
Did you agree with the pomp and circumstance, and I mean, they made a whole show of this thing. It was all day affair. It's days following the build up, lead into the exits, the interviews. You know, of course, they had Phil there. They had, statements by Tiger, the other members of the quote-unquote Ryder Cup committee, which included Ricky Fowler. Was it built up too much, dude? I mean, was this too much hype? Or is it because of what Phil said in the post-tournament interview at the Ryder Club at Glen Eagles, and the media's just spinning this up with as much juice as they can?
I think it's a combination of everything, George.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of what you've seen as far as the build-up and the hype to it is trying to cover up, and you've heard me say this before, but the politics that lies underneath. And how they're going about doing this. Davis has done a lot of great things in his career. Him being the captain,
now twice.
I don't know if he's got the ability to do that from the mental standpoint of being able to put everything together. I don't know. He's not a Mike Krzyzewski, that's for sure.
Well, it was brought out and explained to the world that they're going to be 4 assistant captains
who they've already apparently got laid out for the next 6 years or so.
Yeah. Well, it's
that
going
will
to be
become
2
the captains.
It's going to be 2 past captains, and then 2, let's say, experienced, rich participants in the Ryder Cup. Those with experience in the Ryder Cup process.
I think his advisor should have actually been the captain of the whole flipping thing, to be honest with you.
What do you mean that?
Tom Lehman.
Oh, Tom Lehman. Oh, yeah.
Who is the advisor, co-captain, so to speak. I think he should have been the captain from one. And I had totally forgot about Tom. I'll be perfectly honest because,
yeah, we haven't mentioned his name.
You haven't heard a lot about Tom, so he really wasn't, in the forefront of your thought.
Right.
But once he was announced as the co-captain or the advisor,
right,
it was like, why? Why not him? Tom's smart.
Oh, yeah, Tom's
and he is a heck of a competitor.
And Hazeltine's his home course.
And trust me, I've seen Tom Lehman when he gets mad, and it ain't pretty. Days long ago.
Yeah, there is some butt chewings there. There's
and he could be the one that, could motivate.
Yeah, well, I think that's – again, I don't know if Davis walked into the meetings, and evidently they've had 2 extended meetings over the last several months that led up to – Davis being selected. Evidently, he started these meetings in equal process with everybody else, saying, I'm not throwing my name in the hat. I'll do whatever. If you want me to be cart boy, towel boy, water boy, he goes, I just want to be a part of the process. And according to statements made by Ricky, by Mickelson, by Davis himself, evidently it started coming to a vote, and everybody just kind of said, well, it was pretty unanimous who we kind of thought should be captain, and Davis's name was just there. So, evidently there was discussions with Azinger. He turned it down, point blank, turned it down, but did offer consultation.
Yeah.
Secondly, evidently there was some brief discussion about Freddie Couples, and evidently that was voted down internally before it even went before table vote, that his name wouldn't even be quote-unquote considered because of his reactions to all the hoopla and popping circumstance that comes along with the build-up for 2 years to the Ryder Cup.
I mean, he's not worried about the media. He's worried about winning the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, well,
and he does it
is
in his own way, and he doesn't do it the politically correct way, according to the PGA of America.
Yeah.
And again, it shows why the PGA of America is struggling right now.
Well, there has been some interesting comments made by Rest of World, one of which you brought up earlier off the air was by number 1 player in the world, Rory McIlroy. What did Roy say about this whole situation?
And I'm trying to find it to read exactly to you, George, but basically what I took from it was the fact that, the United States just doesn't get the fact that when they have their captain is diligently working on different scenarios and that kind of thing, but the fact that European players are traveling all over the world together. I mean, they do a lot of things together. They go.
So
to
there's
dinner.
more unity. There's more friendship. There's more
Absolutely.
camaraderie.
Yeah, it's not about who can beat who, and I'm better than you, so we're going to do this my way. And what it's about, they all sit there and talk about this stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, they may not agree about it. They might argue about it, but at the end of the night, they're going to have a drink, a glass of wine, and say, "Okay, let's go do this." Mm-hmm. And I learned that a long time ago by going to South Africa and talking to, back then it was Mark James. You had Eamon Darcy. McGinley was there for a brief period of time. Mm-hmm. Meeting these guys from Europe and the guys from South Africa, Gavin Levinson, John Bland, Mark McNulty, they all talked about the fact that, in those days, we all traveled together to go to these golf tournaments. We'd fly in, but you're catching buses to go to the tournaments.
Caravan, yeah.
And so you got to know these people, and you got to be friends with them.
Right.
And that's why they kept saying, y'all are winning right now. And this is back in, the early 90s. But they're saying this is why y'all are winning. But as soon as all this keeps coming around, everybody keeps getting better.
It was dominant. The first 30 years of this whole process, this whole tournament was U.S., U.S., U.S.
Yeah. But they kept saying, just wait.
And then they brought in rest of world versus GB&I.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they brought in the Spain and the Ireland or the Scottish and some of these other players, then all of a sudden, when Germany hit,
when you got Germany, Sweden,
you got Ballesteros,
Spain,
you've got Bernhard Langer, you've got Thomas Bjorn now, you've got these other players that just.
It's more international, and they have to come together, and it's more camaraderie than what you see here in the United States, and that's the biggest complaint I've heard from the guys, because like I said, playing overseas as long as I did, you get to hear this a lot because you're an American and you're going to get chastised for it. They say,
sure.
You guys have egos, where they do their thing and they hang out, and like I said, they go to dinner, they go to movies, they do whatever, and it's a friendship. And so just you guys keep doing what you're doing and keep thinking and just watch, it's coming. And they were right. It came, and it's still going.
And it's still going. And according to our comments of last week, we both consider it to be continuing to go Europeans' way at the upcoming Ryder Cup at Hazeltine.
I don't see how we can compete with them. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
One other thing that came out of the quote-unquote almost hour-long press conference or whatever you want to call it, the formal announcement of Davis Love being identified as the next Ryder Cup captain for 2016 is they evidently reported on the several different mechanisms in the process that they've paid attention to over these two meetings and subsequent phone calls and emails back and forth and things of that sort. Of all of this different discussion items that I heard them relate to, the only one that I think could be a benefit, and I see was, when we talked about this even during our Ryder Cup coverage from Glen Eagles, is the U.S. squad needs to go out and instead of waiting till the week of the Ryder Cup, is they need to start getting the team members that they know are going to be there. In other words, they've got that magic cutoff with points, which equals there's 1 point for every $1,000 in the second year, and then within the year of the Ryder Cup itself, you get 2 points for every $1,000. So they're taking the hottest player who may not be so good the second year before, but the year before he may be coming on, whatever. So, but the comment was made that the team needs to start getting together much sooner to practice the different formats, such as alternate shot.
We get annihilated in that. But you're right. I mean, it needs to be more of, you know what, guys, take some pride in the fact you have gotten your rear ends kicked in the Ryder Cup. Start doing more stuff together to prepare for this. 6 months. You don't even have to be a year. Just 6 months to 8 months down the road to where when you walk in there, it's second nature.
So many of these players are pretty much destined. They know the marquee 6 or 7 players in the U.S., they know they're going to be on the team.
Yeah.
Okay, it's those that are on the bubble because of health, age, or they're just not playing well.
And they've got to play their way onto the team, and they've got
Yeah.
to a certain point. I understand that, but I just say
So let's take these six. Let's assume it's six guys that right now you and I could probably name that's going to be on the 2016 squad, even though we're still 16 months out. Those six guys, realistically, 6 months prior, like you said, 6 months prior, they are going to play in probably, let's say conservatively, 7 to 8 parallel tournaments together. They're going to be in the fields together.
Yeah.
You agree?
sure.
So why not go out at wherever these golf courses are? It doesn't matter. Muirfield, it doesn't matter. Whistling Straits, it doesn't matter. And on Tuesday, instead of going out with your caddy and doing all this, why not go out and practice some alternate shot? Why not hook up with these guys for their practice
Well,
rounds?
they're playing a gambling game anyway in a practice round.
Yeah.
Why not go out and do an alternate shot with the guys that could be there? And, but again, that goes on to Davis to say, hey, look, I know you guys aren't guaranteed to be on this squad. You've got to play your way on. But here's what I'd like for the guys to do.
That's
because
what
that
I'm
makes
saying,
my
Hugh.
picks easier. Get
That's
out there
what
and
I'm
start
saying.
doing this. I don't care if you go
Why
out.
not take it on their part, their own effort, to start doing this?
Well, yeah, but I think that's where someone like a Tom Lehman he will probably do that for Davis and encourage that. That's why I said when I heard his name, I'm like, why isn't Tom captain? Mm-hmm. Because he's the one that he would come up with those kind of ideas. Number one, going out and playing a practice round, doing something like that and gambling a little bit and playing an alternate shot with four of you. And your possible team, going to be on the team.
Well, you go out, you take Reed and Spieth.
Yeah.
Okay, and they take on Fowler and Keegan Bradley
and go play alternate shots, see what happens.
on a Tuesday. They're at Whistling Straits. I mean, do you do it the week of a major? Maybe not, but the week before at the John Deere or wherever.
I'd say a major, it's out. But if it's a John Deere or if it's the tournament at Sedgefield
or Memphis or
whatever,
wherever,
go do something like that. Because number one, it's going to help your practice round be fun because it's going to take forever to play a practice round anyway.
the caddy's still out there. He's still getting the yardages.
Sure.
He's still getting the pin placements. I mean, it's still productive time all the way around.
And
but
yet it's
again,
fun for you to have a practice round and not get bored.
Yeah. And you're building continuity. You're building.
Well, you're either building continuity or there's no way, and I'm playing with this guy in this thing.
Yeah.
So, you can create your teams and your pods and that kind of thing from these situations. I mean, I think that's a heck of an idea, George. I really do. And it's something that
Well, it just makes logical sense.
it does, but it comes
If
down
the
to
U.S. squad wants to win, if they truly, I mean, that's all I'm hearing.
But what
from
I'm trying
Mickelson
to
and,
tell you
and
is
Tiger and all that.
What I'm trying to tell you is, if you're going to do this, it's the onus of the captain to make this happen.
Well, that's true.
Because the way the Europeans think and the way we think is obviously on opposite sides of this spectrum.
Yeah.
So it comes down to the captain saying, this is what I want out of my possible team members. Show me how you want to get on here. Show me how we can make this work. Because he's still going to have a couple of picks.
Well, that's the other item. There was two that I took away from the press conference. Excuse me, folks. There's two things I took away from the press conference, one of which was the preparation aspects that the team needs to go out and start preparing earlier in the different formats for the Ryder Cup instead of waiting till the week of because they just found out who's all on the team. That's BS. They've been finding out who's on the team several weeks prior. Because as it was commented during the press conference, well, we just need to make sure we get their clothes and their staff bag and all this other stuff. If that's the stuff you're worried about, dude, you're worried about the wrong damn thing. I'm telling you that.
You're in the wrong position.
So my point is going into that, now it looks like that they're going to have one pick basically the night of or the day after the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah.
At East Lake, the Coca-Cola
Tour Championship.
Tour Championship. So I think that was brilliant. It should have been done last time with Billy Horschel.
Sure.
So you and I talked about that, ranted and raved about that for hours. And so, I think that was another smart move, and that tells me, too, that the players getting inside with Pavakwa and the others inside the PGA of America, they're listening. Where last year, Watson couldn't have cared less. So, you know.
And again, it comes down to thinking of this, George. I mean, you become the captain of the Ryder Cup team. Now, granted, they don't get paid to play in the Ryder Cup, and the captain doesn't get. But do you take enough pride in the honor of being captain to where you're working on this 24/7? Because it is a job now.
Oh, it's obvious. It's turned out to be a 2-year term.
This is a job, and so you better. And Davis Love is going to play in golf tournaments.
Oh, he's playing this week at the Honda.
But that's what I'm saying. He's going to play, and I think it's where you need someone that And yeah, Tom plays in a few senior events, but those are 3-day events.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from his, and I don't know.
You notice how Tom Watson
I don't think he's got
been-
the commitment either. That George, no different than what Watson did.
You don't think Davis has got the commitment?
I don't think he's got the commitment from the standpoint of being able to do it individually. You telling me Mike Krzyzewski doesn't have the final say-so in everything that goes on in a practice?
Oh, I agree, dude.
Or in recruitment?
No, I agree.
I mean, this is the same situation here.
But this is
Roy Williams. You look at Calipari. I mean, these guys are recruiting.
all
They're
names
coaching.
that Davis is going to pull from as far as consulting with and having come in and give the pep talks to the team.
He better go get himself a pep talk.
So, let me ask you a question. If it wasn't for Davis and the Ryder Cup, I mean, would he have disappeared into the sunset?
Probably.
I mean,
he'd have played the senior tour, and you'd have heard about him here and there, and that'd have been the end of it. Playing
Yeah.
the Champions Tour, excuse
Yeah.
me. But I just know I've known him my whole life, and I just know that it's doing diligent research and work is not a strong point of Davis Love. He is one heck of an athlete and a great golfer.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as a student, professor, or a coach, no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, maybe he's got the people around him now to.
He better have somebody. He better hope his daddy comes down and in an aberration and kicks him in the rear end and said, This is what you got to do."
Okay, last little question I have for you on this subject, and then we'll go ahead and take a break. But we're 18 months, as I mentioned, away from the Ryder Cup.
Well, you said 16. Earlier.
16, 18, wherever we are. I don't know. Don't really care. All I can think about is Masters. But that's another point. Do we go ahead and assume that the two play experience co-captains, assistant captains, vice captains, whatever you want to call them, can we go ahead and assume that both of them are going to be one Phil Mickelson, the other is going to be Tiger Woods?
You've got
The other two guys are going to be past captains.
Well, you got Stricker.
Well, we know that, but I'm just saying, do we go ahead and assume? I mean, because Phil's mentioned this week several times, I plan on playing my way on. I plan on playing. I've got several of these still in my bag. No. Tiger,
No. Tiger and Davis, no way. Tiger and Phil, yes.
You don't see Tiger, if he's asked to be an assistant captain, taking that role?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Two totally different mental.
Even though he's on the panel, even though he's on the committee.
Well, he's on the committee, but I don't think that. There's two different thoughts. The way they think about golf and think about handling things and doing things are so different.
Mm-hmm.
I see there being a bumping of heads.
Mm-hmm. So Mickelson, yes, because Mickelson just wants to be part of the process. And Mickelson knows.
He wants to be a part of the process, but he'll tell Davis, "You're an idiot," and he'll say, "Boom, this is the way we need to do it."
Well, he won't tell Davis he's an idiot. He'll tell Davis, "Hey, look, bud, I don't think this is quite right. Why don't we try it this way?" And Davis will go, "Oh, okay." And then
he'll tell him.
That'll way it'll happen.
Oh, he'll tell him.
Yeah.
Phil doesn't hold any punches.
But Phil will recognize and respect the process.
To a point.
Yeah. So I guess I wanted to go ahead and everybody's just assuming right now that the two player representatives that they've deemed to be assistant captains for future spots this coming and ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
You had 2 past champions, or 2 past captains, excuse me, and then 2 quote-unquote experienced players that are moving into the captain's role. Mm-hmm. Agreed? Mm-hmm. And we all know that Mickelson's going to get the captain's role, probably at Bethpage. Okay? You and I have talked about that scenario. Mm-hmm. So he's there. He's in it. You don't see Tiger getting into the captain's role.
I don't think he wants it.
I have to agree with you.
I don't think he wants it.
I think he wants to be president, but I don't know if he wants to take over as captain
I'll put
of
it
the
to you
Ryder
this
Cup.
way. If they made him president of the Ryder Cup, George.
No, I'm saying president of the United States.
Listen here. If they made him the captain of the Ryder Cup, that was my faux pas. If they made him captain, honestly, it would probably be the greatest thing that ever happened because he would change from workout to practice. These guys would be up at 3 o'clock in the morning working out. Then they'd go practice and they'd have routines. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be about pampering and the so-called spoiled brat syndrome. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he wants it. I don't think.
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to take another moment. Hugh just brought up another point. Okay, one of the other complaints that evidently came out through the 2 panel hearings or meetings of several hours each was the players complained that at Glen Eagles and previous Ryder Cups, that their time was being pulled away from to practice when they would have to do, say, a 2 o'clock in the afternoon or a 3 o'clock in the afternoon press conference. And that if there was any way that the process could include them either taking care of their press conference first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening, then that would greatly enhance their ability to practice and get ready for that week's competition. Mm-hmm. Now, my immediate response to that was, in my mind, Hugh, and you know how I think, absolutely in the gutter, straight ass backwards with dyslexia. Okay? Well, the European squad's been doing the same doggone thing for years. It hadn't affected them. So why all of a sudden now is this a point with our players? You know, do they just want to be out on the course or on the range or joking around? Or, what is it? So... But evidently that will occur now. Evidently the press access, the quote-unquote press conferences that are held every day at the Ryder Cup are going to be moved time-wise.
And honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I think, you do it first thing in the morning. You talk to them. How did you feel about yesterday? Or how do you what's on your agenda today? And then when they get finished with their practice, they can go in and say, hey, we had a great practice. Or, it's not quite where I want it yet, but I'm going to work on it.
But see,
they've
been doing it now. Depending on the timing, of course, at Glen Eagles in Scotland, and you had your 5 hours less, and and this, that, and the other. Now, when it goes to Minnesota at Hazeltine, you'll be at Central Standard Time. So, but what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to get the afternoon press conferences in before the deadlines, of course. Before the evening news is across the world, in case somebody makes a faux pas, messes up, and says the wrong thing. Okay? Who cares? The media doesn't dictate press conferences for the NFL or for MLB or for the NBA.
So therefore, guess what? If Tiger Woods was the captain, the press would be doing it around his schedule.
Ooh, I can only imagine that.
So that's what I'm saying.
You
have got to have a captain that has got the stones to stand there and say, this is the way this is going to be, folks. You like it or you don't like it. I don't care.
Right.
It's like you heard me give lessons to people saying, look, this is the way you're going to do it at this pace and this tempo. And whether you like it, I don't give a.
Right.
Because it's the right way to do it to help prepare your team. You are the captain. You are the coach. You are the person running this whole show. They will do it around what you want, not you doing it around what is convenient and makes you popular. Because the only thing that matters, George, is winning.
Do you think the panel allows Davis to be outward with a dictatorship? If demanding that you'll do it this way, I want you to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, I won't put you on the team. Or if he starts heading in that direction, do they pull him back? Oh, now, come on, dude.
He just lit the fire. I apologize. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now. You want to know why he's captain? Because he will do it exactly the way they want him to do it.
Perfect. I agree.
That's why he is captain.
He's a yes man.
He is a yes man, and like I told you before, he went 2 years to college and never went to class his last semester. Mm-hmm. He came to me on the driving range down in Florida at the NCAA and said, I need your help because we're at Greenleaf. I'm hitting balls on the practice tee at the West Course saying, Dad's going to kill me. Why? He goes, I haven't been to class in 6 weeks. He goes, I flunked out of school. I'm going to turn pro. He's going to kill me. I need you to help buffer. Where's your dad? That's no BS. That's the honest to God truth.
Right. I've heard the story.
I love, the guy and I, like I said, he stayed in my home. We were good friends. I got on tour. It wasn't that way. Whatever. I have no vendetta. I'm not real fond of him anymore, but I will tell you this. He's not the smartest flipping person in the world. Whatever they tell him, he's going to do to make them happy.
And Freddie wouldn't do that.
Heck, no. Tiger Woods wouldn't do that. Tom Lehman wouldn't do that.
Right,
and Mickelson wouldn't do that.
We've laid down. We've laid it down.
Well, and if I get in trouble, I'll just
You're
take the
not
brunt
getting in
of it.
trouble, dude.
Because I'm telling you.
I appreciate your comments. I do.
Yeah.
Your honesty and your comments.
Hooked on Phonics didn't work. Put it that way for him.
Hey. Folks, thanks for joining us on TGD today. This has been a round table and a good one. So I appreciate it, bud.
You're welcome.
It's always fun. We got off on this one subject.
Told you I was in a mood.
We got off on this one. There was other things I was going to talk about, like my receding hairline and my hands being too close to my wrist and other things.
Yeah.
But we'll move on. We'll save those for another show.
Okay.
TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting The Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more. Need help with your next golf vacation? Hey, hashtag just call Dave.
Just call Dave.
We got to get you to sing that. Get it
I
recorded.
don't sing.
Give us a call, 844-GO-GOLF1, 844-464-6531. All of our TGD programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, click on the TGD Radio or TGD TV tabs in the menu at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, AutoRealm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and, of course, the Myrtle Beach Golf app. This is George Honeycutt, and for Hugh Roy III. And by the way, send out a quick recovery and best wishes to Brother Al, who had an emergency tooth extraction this morning. So,
poor guy.
We thank you for tuning in. There's more golf news and information coming up next.